All right, today, folks, we're going to go over the 5 things I learned in the first 2 months of raising pastured pigs. As you can see behind me, I've got 6 pigs here. We've been raising them on pasture for about 2 months. So if you're curious what pastured pigs are, I guess technically these would be more forested pigs, but it's the same process. What it means is that we take a section of electric netting and we give them access to fresh ground. Most pigs, especially the ones you're going to get in the grocery store, are what they're called confinement raised, where they just put them in a building and they make it airtight and watertight, and they seal them up. No animals can get in or out. They can't interact with anything except for a concrete floor and the feed that those producers give them, which helps to create a uniform product, but it also breeds diseases, things like the swine flu. And if you've ever been around a pig farm, you'll know that they have to do special things to control their manure and their urine. They can't just let that stuff run out. They have to actually have ponds where they just keep this sewage, swampy stuff, and it's very disgusting, and unfortunately it harms the value of the properties anywhere near that. So what we do is we decided that we didn't want to do that. That's not a principle we believe in on our farm. We believe in animal welfare and raising animals the most natural way possible that we can. So what we decided to do was get the electric fence, and we had an area in here where I'm turning it into silvopasture, which is a combination of trees, grass, shade, shelter, all together. That way the animals can, again, raise themselves with minimal inputs. So that's what we're trying to do, is turn this into areas where my grazers, my sheep, my cows can come in here and they can take care of themselves. So by doing that, we needed to clear out a lot of the brush, and that's why we got the pigs. The pigs are excellent for clearing out brush. So to get back to our original point, the pigs do have some natural tendencies that we're taking advantage of, like clearing out things. So the first thing that we learned, though, is pigs don't have to be smelly and stinky. Right now, I'm sure you can hear, I'm trying to block the audio as best I can. The wind is blowing right in my face as I'm standing 10 feet from these pigs. And they do have a pig smell. It's not perfectly clean. It doesn't smell like fresh air, but it's not an unpleasant smell. My neighbors are downwind of here, and they could see where we had built the pig pens and how they were clearing up areas, but they didn't know what we had. And that's exactly what we wanted to do. We didn't want our neighbors to be those people that are upset because they can smell our hogs and they don't want to be downwind of it. They couldn't tell what we had until we said, hey, we have pigs, and then we showed them pictures of it, and they're like, oh, okay, that's awesome. We thought pigs had to be stinky and smelly. So it rewards us for all the hard work that we're doing when we see folks see the payoff of what we're doing, where we're doing something a little bit different. Yes, folks are making fun of us, think that we're crazy, we're Looney Tunes, that you can't raise pigs this way, but they seem to be happy and healthy. Look at these animals. They are clean, they're in their natural habitat, they're rooting around, they're doing work for us while also being cleaner and healthier. We don't have to put dewormer in them, we don't have to use antibiotics, we don't have to do any of that stuff, just because we're willing to take the time to move them around. So yes, I hear people all the time saying, wow, that must take a lot of time, but you also have to factor in your time of if we had to take and put in chemicals and focus on their health a lot more and be more hands-on with those things, and we had to handle their manure and their urine and make sure that we were doing those things properly. Or we can put them out here on pasture. I can put up a fence for them. They can take care of anything inside the fence, live themselves. The only thing I have to do is bring them feed. We'll take care of the rest. I would rather do that than have to come out, build a shelter, which costs me money, and then have to come out and take care of all those extra inputs, where if I would just put them out here, they can take care of themselves. When they were smaller, and we got them in February, so it was pretty cold, we do have a shelter for them. It's just really a 4x8 shed, basically, that you can move around. It's getting warm enough now, and these hogs are getting to the size where they don't really need it. I do have a little shelter that I put off to the side. We'll show you that. So we made, as we were clearing out the trees, I had to take the limbs off of them anyway, so we made a little section there where they can go into. If it's wet and rainy and they don't want to be in that, they can get under that. And also, again, using nature, we've got a ton of trees in this area, so we just put them under some of the bigger trees and the thicker areas. So one, they'll root it up, and two, they'll have some shelter if they need it. So the next thing that we learned in the first 2 months of raising pigs was that they're extremely hardworking. As you can see here behind me, and you can see the fence line back there where you've got all the brush starting to go through. These pigs have done all this themselves. They just love to root. So one of the principles on our farm is using animals' natural habits to our advantage. We could have put these animals in a small pen. Hey, Piggy, don't mess with the camera. Come here. Oh, it's okay. I think the brush scared him, didn't it? Come on. Hi. Yeah. Hi, piggies. So we could have used these animals by putting them in a small area. We could have had them destroy something and it'd be unusable and just be a pig pen, or we could run them through our forest and have them clear it out for us. And one thing I need from you is, as we rotate each area, we have to throw something back on, because we believe in a living root in the soil. So I need some help picking out what cover crops we should use. If you comment those below on what cover crop you'd like to see us use. So far I've got some red clover, some purple top turnips, some they keep messing with the camera. Sorghum Sudan grass, ryegrass, and forage oats. That's what I'm going to try. Please tell me which one you'd like to see us put in the ground first, and then eventually throughout the summer we'll bring these pigs back and let them graze that area, which will reduce our feed cost, which is the next thing that I wanted to talk about. We learned that pigs eat a lot. Every day right now I'm bringing them a 5-gallon bucket, and we're upping it each and every day a little bit more and a little bit more. So these pigs, if you can ever find a way to reduce your feed cost with pigs, it's going to save you a lot of money, especially if you're trying to do it to make any money at it. Dow Family Farms, Rob down there, he does a lot of really cool things trying to show you what cover crops work well for pigs and how he's really into the science behind it. So I've been trying to learn a little bit from him. He's the one that inspired me actually to do pastured pigs. I didn't know about it really until I saw what he was doing, and I thought, wow, I've got a ton of multiflora rows, as you can see in front of me, that we need to get cleared out. So I figured, why not let them do some work and also find a way to feed them more naturally instead of just giving them the corn and soybeans. As far as eating too, it does have quite a bit of a cost. I would suggest not using a farm store like Rural King or Tractor Supply though. Try to find a local mill. We have one here that they grow their own corn and soybeans, and then they'll grind it up for us and make a pig mix, and it is about half the cost of if you go to the store, one of those stores, and buy the pelletized bag feed. So I would highly suggest that, especially if you're new into pigs. You may not know that you can save quite a bit of money just by doing some comparison shopping with your pig feed. Honestly, if you want to be a farmer today, you have to do that with pretty much everything. You've got to comparison shop. I would love to be loyal to some of the stores that we really use, but one thing they'll be super cheap on, and the next thing they're so expensive that I don't know if I can make a profit using it. But hog feed is definitely something where if you're using so much of it, each pig is at least going to take 800 pounds or so from the research I've done. It's going to take about 800 pounds of feed to bring them up to market weight, aren't they? Yeah, piggies eat a lot, don't they? So the third thing I wanted to talk about is that pigs will tame down extremely quickly. Pigs are extremely smart. They're like a dog. They can be very trainable. And these pigs, when we first got them, I couldn't get within an arm's reach of them. They would run away and squeal. So the fact that we are able to get this close to them and they love us now, we can rub up against them, and honestly half the time you're like, okay, get away from me, you're getting dirt all over me. But yeah, so as long as you feed them in a consistent way every time, they get used to you. When they see me coming with a bucket now, honestly, whenever they see my truck, that's how smart the pigs are. They can see my truck coming from the road. They know that, hey, this guy's about to feed me. So they start making a lot of noise when they hear that. So pigs are very trainable. So take your time, spend time with them. Be nice and calm at first. I did make one mistake when I was unloading them. I put them straight into this fence. I didn't have a hard fence. I would not do that again. I would suggest, if you're going to do it, get some sort of way to put them into a small shelter to be calmed down. I don't know why I didn't think of this. I've done this with cattle a million times. You unload them, you make them in a small area so that way they can calm down. With the pigs, I just kind of threw them into this fence, and I didn't think until one of them ran out, which luckily all of these are brothers and sisters. So once they saw, hey, all my siblings are back in here, they were used to these animals, so they came right back in the fence. Now I don't worry about them getting out, but at first I would definitely get like a hog panel or some sort of setup where you can put them into it and feed them a couple times so they'll get used to you, and then you'll be golden. Once you fed them a couple times, even if they're not as calm as these ones are where I can reach down and touch them, if they see you feed them 2, 3, 4, 5 times, then they're going to start coming to that bucket, and then you're golden. So right now, yes, this fence is not, they can break out of it whenever they want to. If they really feel like it, they can push underneath it and get out. but we don't really worry about that. I have a video if you'd like to go back and see how I set up these fences. When I do that, a lot of times I'll just open it up. Hi, Piggy. I'll just open it up and let them roam around while I'm doing it, and then I just take that bucket and say, come on, pigs, come on, and they'll follow me right back in. So that's my number one thing with these pigs is, you know, they're going to get big quickly. I know, I scared you, sorry. They're going to get big quickly, so you need to make them trainable while they're small. We got these as feeders, so we got them at about 20 pounds, which is about the perfect size to, they're not so big you can't grab them if you need to. I think you're going to knock over the camera, aren't you, buddy? Got the whole field to till up, and you decide to do right where the camera is. Gotta love the pigs. But anyway, that would be my biggest suggestion, is make sure you have a small, tight area and you can get them used to you. Buy feeders, especially if you're first time starting out. I would not go out and buy a sow that's about to give birth, and then you have to try to figure out her needs as she's lactating, and hopefully she can birth them all. Then you have to castrate them. It's much easier to just buy these animals as feeders where they've already been castrated, they've already had their teeth clipped, that sort of thing, and then you can just bring them home, feed them out, and see if you enjoy the pigs before you have the hassle of trying to deal with them that much every day. So the fourth thing that we learned in the first 2 months of raising 6 pastured pigs is that pigs are extremely hardworking. As you can see, this hog here behind us, they're still rooting up where we fed them earlier, and even further behind that, you can see where they've been rooting up. This was covered with leaves and brush when we first got in here, and they have continuously helped us till this up. I could do this work myself, but we decided on our farm that we want to save our time and our hard labor by letting animals use their natural behaviors to our benefit. And the way we do that is with the pigs, we put them in here, we let them root this up for a while, and then eventually we want to turn this into silvopasture, so we need to be able to plant that with some cover crops to kill off the brush. And while doing that, we need the ground to be tilled beforehand. So I could take a rototiller down here and use my fuel and use my time to do that, which would be extremely time consuming and cost me a lot of money. Or I could use these animals, which, yes, we're putting our time and money into them, but eventually they're going to be able to provide me with money and an additional source of income. Whereas if I was taking the time to do this with a rototiller, I wouldn't have any extra income at the end of the day. And our margins are slim enough that if we don't use the advantages of our animals, hi Piggy, if we don't use the advantages of our animals, there's no way that we're going to be able to compete with the large producers out there like the Smithfields and the Tysons and things like that, where they're able to produce on such massive numbers that the margins can be extremely slim, where we need to protect our margins because we just don't have the space and the facilities to handle all of those things. And the fifth thing that we learned while raising pigs is that pigs are extremely noisy. I would compare them much to a chicken or a rooster, where when we have our cows and sheep, we also have chickens here, but our cows and sheep are very quiet as long as they have what they need. They're actually fighting over in the corner. My cows are two brothers. For some reason, they like to push on each other sometimes. But anyway, when they're well taken care of, when the cows and the sheep are well taken care of, they won't make noise. The pigs, as you can hear right now, we got one coming. Hi, Piggy. They're extremely noisy. That's just the way they are. They like to make noise, especially when they're competing for something. So they'll be rooting around in here and they'll find something that they both enjoy. So they'll make noise and they'll try to fight with each other to get to it. That's perfectly normal, but if you're a first-time hog owner, that's something you have to realize. Hi, buddy. All right, folks, before we get out of here today, I wanted to give you an update on their area. If you haven't seen the video, go back to the channel. I'll show you the video of when we first got in here. Wow, I hadn't even noticed this thing completely knocked that tree down, and you can tell where they're tearing it up. Look at the amount of work that they've put in already. They have done a ton of work for us. Here, this area has been extremely wet because this is where the water runs through when it comes off the hill. One of the reasons why I need a cover crop, because I don't want to damage my soils too much, but I do need to get this stuff cleaned out. Look at this. Wow, they are doing an amazing job in here. So you can see why I was saying I don't want to try to clear this by hand. Just taking the time to cut a path down through here. It took me an hour just to do that with my chainsaw, as you can tell just how thick this stuff is. So they've still got quite a bit of work to do in here for us, but you can tell the thinner areas, they're really starting to do a number on those. That's what we wanted. Like I said, this is the idea that we had in our mind in action. So these pigs have done a wonderful job for us so far. Sorry, I'll try to block the wind the best I can here as we climb up the hill. It's an extremely windy day. It's been hard to find any days that aren't windy. Even though we're down here in the hills, it's usually not too bad, but this year, this spring, it's been especially windy, hasn't it, piggies? All right, so we're about to get out up here. You can see I still have some logs I need to get collected. They've cleared out the brush though and made it a lot easier for me to do that. All right, as you can see, this was the last area that our pigs were in. We're starting to get some grass sprouting back up in here. I haven't planted this with any cover crop yet, so leave your suggestions below on what you'd like to see us planting here. Oh, and here's the shelter they had. Oh, sorry about the wind. Coming up to the top of the hill, I knew it'd be a lot windier. And here was the first section they were in. It is already starting to grow back extremely well, so I'm very proud of how we were able to get this reseeded and manage this so that it didn't destroy the soil. That's the first time having pigs, you never know what's going to happen. So that was extremely helpful for me. So originally this area was covered with orchard grass, which is right there. It's growing back pretty good. We're also getting some of our seeds to grow that we threw down. We have some purple top turnips and some clover in here. So I'm excited to see how these will grow back up, and maybe we can bring the pigs back in here before the end of the year. So if you've enjoyed this video, you like seeing how we're raising the pastured pigs, what they're able to do to our land, and how it recovers after, please subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate everybody taking the time to watch these videos. It means a lot to me. Like I said, drop your comments below on what cover crop you'd like to see us use, and hopefully we're able to get that in here. And you can follow with our progress as we raise these animals and we recover our land at the same time. Thank you for watching.